I feel like, as for back with the neon annihilator and the extinguisher thingy, I feel like the neon annihilator is more like a single target just elimination. Well, the extinguisher, if you manage to gas everyone and put everyone on fire, it just chains up.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
can
the
get some
ideal
crazy
situation.
chains potentially. That is true, and I think it's really something like it's something people are sleeping on. Alright, it does look like the first match or the third place decider match is starting. First map on Relic here. Pyro-Tech versus the GOOF troop.
Yep, and they're all rolling out as well we predicted. So we might see some
through the main and to Relic as well, yeah. But actually, no, we see the red team more so favoring the church side of the map.
That is true. They mirrored each other in this rollout, and it seems like blue's going down here.
Yeah, we saw some trades early on, red team dropping 2 players, but then able to refrag it there and cleaning up the last few blue players and very convincingly grabbing the point. Something that I guess we could point out about the about the config as well is that the point always caps at the same rate. It doesn't matter if there's one player on it or if your whole team is on it. It always takes the same amount of time to cap. And so, yes, we might see some people take advantage of that.
No, they're attempting to flank, as I can see having 2 players on the point and I think 2 more going to the flank, utilizing it. But the flank member has been shut off, and now the main fight is happening on the point right here.
We're seeing the blue team take good advantage of air blast, trying to push them off the point, but they don't clinch it, and they're getting cleaned up.
Oh, air blast kills. There we go,
Oh, we got a pit frag, yeah.
And the last one. Oh, it's 2 people here.
It looks like the blue players are kind of trickling though. They're not waiting for their respawners, and now the red team is just kind of cleaning them up with their numbers advantage.
Okay, there's 3 people behind them. That's some massive flank potential right there.
Yeah, and the blue team is kind of getting stuck in the choke points, not really able to make it out into the great beyond that is the main area around the point. So
no ammo. They're running out of ammo. Okay.
It does look like blue managed to get a foothold now, as red does have some respawners, but the blue team is finally able to take some space.
Yeah, they're taking
and it looks like they're making it onto the point now. Let's see if they manage to get a cap out of it.
And it's a 2v3 it seems like. Just need the last player to come by. Yep. So it's just a matter of a cleanup.
Yeah, Rest put in a good work there, cleaning up some of the blue players, but the remainder of the blue team did actually manage to clean up some of the players, but Red's still coming in with the respawners and trying to block it. Blue team actually, a small thing to note there is that blue delayed their cap until their players are up, so it's a very smart play by them, making it so that they don't delay their own respawners. It's very important to do because when you have the point, you actually get slower respawners than when you don't have the point. But it looks like Red is just going to the point right away. Like they're aggressing onto the point and basically capping it right away. Blue does manage to block it right before the end though, but it wasn't enough.
It just kind of got squeezed out of it through flank. Something I've noticed, a really cool detail about the map is that whoever caps the point, the fire changes to the team color. That's wonderful.
Oh, the torch fire. Wow, that's I didn't even notice that either. Wow.
Yeah, just wait for blue to cap and it turns blue. Also, there's like these little torches that are up on the ruins themselves. They also turn blue.
Yeah, I've seen the smaller torches as well and the big torches. That's a cool little detail. It does look like Red is getting very aggressive though, pushing all the way into the enemy lobby and even going so far as to go. We have Frolic pretty much going all the way into the enemy spawn as well and trying to bait people into the lobby. Maybe trying to set up a sandwich with his teammate. Yeah, and it did actually work in Mir popping up out of nowhere and helping Frolic out. But now both of the overextending players do get cleaned up by the blue players who are now pushing through water and making it back to Relic.
And they also have 2 players on ruins, which will be able to help.
Oh, the blue player getting caught out by the pit and barely managing to not get air blasted into the pit is a very tight moment there.
Gav going down on the points.
Do we see an overtime? Big fight here.
Oh, 3v1?
Yeah, the one red player managing to stay up for so long and block the point and delay for his respawn.
Rez is just absolutely...
Yeah, they just couldn't kill Rez there for like, I want to say 10-15 seconds. That was incredible.
Albeit, to be honest, it might have been... Never mind, they have 3 players on here. They should be winning.
Yeah, we need to see a little bit of a clutch coming out of Popsy here. Otherwise, he needs to block this, and he's not able to make it to point, though. That's a pretty decisive
round's
round
going
for
for
the red team.
The one thing I kind of love about this game mode is that no matter the scenario, even if it's a 1v3, the one person could still come out on top.
Yeah, it's true, and partially it has to do with the Dragon Fury shots being able to penetrate players. Like you can hit multiple people with the same shot, which can mean that your damage output becomes so high so quickly, especially because you also get the fire rate.
Mirroring strategy here for like blue rollouts through ruins and then red kind of through flank.
Yeah, it's true. And now red is like kind of trying to pincer people in and around the point. Where blue favors the high ground though. All committing to a fight now together. It's a big scuffle in the main. This could still go either way. One landed shot, like one shot on either side, and it's over for the other team. Blue manages to get the point, and now there's just one random red player who's kind of roaming around.
Blue. Wonderful.
Okay, Frylock does end up getting cleaned up.
Yeah, red seems kind of separated right here. Blue coming back to just kind of, like collapse on the point right here from all sides. But so is red taking back a bit of space. Yeah, they managed to push out some players here.
Yeah, I think red actually did a very good job at taking they were kind of disadvantaged there with their positioning, but they managed to yeah, they were holding on and making the most out of that fight, and then ended up getting the cap out of it. Last round we saw the blue team cap, and it took a very long time before red was able to, or sorry, the other way around. We saw red cap, and then it took blue kind of a while to get any real cap going on the point. And this round, blue winning the mid fight, but then red recapping pretty quickly afterwards.
You can see two blue members trying to flank, as you can see, kind of preparing through flank here.
Yeah,
there's a window to church.
It looks like, yeah, they have 4 players trying to push through the flank now.
Oh, they're going behind them. I don't think that's a relatively good idea. Yeah, since red has a
slow, but
player.
I mean, they do have a 3v2 in the church area. Yeah, it's like
look at church. Look at church.
That was incredible. That was such a chaotic moment with like all the 2 red players just completely surrounded by the 3 blue players in the kill box and getting just completely annihilated by all the shots.
I mean, to be fair, at first it seemed as if blue was just kind of sandwiched into the church area, but there were a bunch of red players who came out from spawn, and they themselves kind of got sandwiched. So that's, the difference of outcomes.
Yeah, it was interesting how they managed to turn it into their own favor there, even though it looked pretty bad at the start. I think it's a pretty balanced fight right now, and both sides are kind of struggling to secure kills, but then also getting some of the frags are getting cleaned up, and it's honestly very back and forth.
It seems like Frylock is the melee fight. Okay. And we have our first melee kill right here from Xena, I think. Probably Xena.
The control point is being captured.
Got it. Seems as if red has managed to take control back. They're kind of separating players, and from blue they're just kind of dying one by one, which is not something you kind of want to see here. I think they're not really able to coordinate together. They shouldn't be dying one by one. Oh. And red does kind of overextend, leaving them kind of like low HP, so then you kind of need to pull back a bit.
Yeah, red stabilized on the point good there. I mean, the timers are looking pretty equal.
Yeah, but look at the health.
Yeah, the health situation for red isn't favorable. Blue coming in and kind of struggling to convert the damage into frags though.
Yeah, they're being pushed back. All of them are pretty weak.
Okay, there they get one pushed out, 2 pushed out. We see Rez waiting for the pack, but now it's basically just Rez versus the world. Is he gonna be able to do anything here?
But we saw him kind of clutch once. Yeah, he's dodging.
Well, I mean, he's still not, like, they still don't manage to clean him up, and he's like, he's still up. Like, it's impressive how long he's managed to wiggle around and stay up there.
But
he does end up getting cleaned up for contesting the point.
Yeah, it was a kind of a mistake from red team to kind of overextend there and not fall back once they had all the health taken from them. Which you could see here.
Blue actually getting a lot of time on the off the point here, so this is very favorable for them.
Yeah, as you can see, Red's kind of just going in one by one, no matter... They don't really acknowledge their numbers advantage here. And Blue is just able to gobble them one by one. As you can see, there's still a player here just kind of fighting for no point. If they don't manage to just group up together and make a single push, we might not see them recapping this point. Oh wait, they were actually flanking. Okay, there were two red players coming from blue spawn, and I think they might have been chased.
Yeah, red. They do manage to get the cap right before the end, so there's still a little bit of time for the blue team. It's not one push and it's over yet for the blue team. So this means the red team is still in a spot where they can maybe clinch out the round and take this first map.
Yep. As long as they don't overextend and just take control of the health pack, they should be fine. Blue is making the push through ruins though. There would be a confrontation there. Oh! That's a pit frag there.
We got another pit frag.
Xeno,
Let's go.
yeah.
I think that's 2 now.
That is 2, yeah. Seems as... yeah, it seems pretty dire with 2 players only up for blue. There is 1 player flanking though, there's 2 players on ruins rather. Oh, for the melee frag? Okay, we got another melee frag. That's nice.
Yeah, the melee frags are pretty rare because it's hard to get in close, so seeing people making use of the melee is a... It's a shad move.
Clinching though. Okay.
Yeah, blue coming in right before the overtime. They'll maybe get this cap. No, it'll actually be an overtime. So this is, I mean, this is an incredibly close situation. Yeah, like red, if they get 1 good push in, it's over. But then at the same time, if blue can stave this push off, then it's over for the red team as well. And they do have the positional advantage. The air blast can come in clutch, and it does. The air blast basically clinches the round.
Yeah, Brit doesn't manage to get in time on the point to try and perhaps air blast them off themselves. So unfortunately, it goes to blue. Very back and forth type of game right there. Very close as well. And we just see a lot of overextending and just... We see like a lot of players thinking that it would be a better idea to just go flank. And for a moment I saw 2 red players emerging from blue while the rest of the team was already dead. So it just kind of seems like a lack of coordination on both sides. Anyways, the fight's occurring on the point right now.
Yeah, there's a kind of a chaotic fight. The blue team seems to be kind of spread out here, but now cleaning up the player under the point and trying to push out of grass. The red team has a very shitty health situation right here. The blue team does manage to kind of convert it into some frags and are putting the pressure on the point, managing to clean up another red player as the final one comes in.
Remaining.
Yeah, this looks like a pretty dominant performance out of the blue team for this mid fight.
They might be looking for some... No. There's 2 red players just confronting them at one point. They're just gonna get gobbled up probably. Never mind, he gets a kill. Okay.
Yeah, the potato on blue side is putting in some work here. Popsy getting taken out.
The gas passengers.
There's a bit of a 3v1. Frost being kind of outnumbered. Well, now it's the blue team that is kind of getting attacked from all sides. It's kind of a bad position to be in. You have to remember that the Dragon's Fury shots, if you're taking a 2v1 and you're getting hit by 2 shots at once, you basically lose all of your health.
This is so weird. Blue had a major health disadvantage for a very long time, as well as number disadvantage, and the point still wasn't being capped for quite a bit, which, you know, something that needs to be focused on.
Yeah, and I think it really boiled down to the fact that blue was holding on to their positioning despite their health situation. They were taking the better positions and making it so that the red team really couldn't aggress the point at all. Oh, we see another pit frag because Frylock getting greedy. Oh, and 2 pit frags in a very short amount of time.
Okay.
I really hope we catch that on stream actually, because Potato just basically got 2 pit frags in the span of, well, I want to say 2-3 seconds. So that's a, if we got that on stream, then that's a definite clip. Like that's a definite highlight. Yeah.
Should be winning.
We got confirmation that it was in fact caught on stream. We got the instant replay. That's a wonderful little highlight for the highlight reel.
Still managing to cling on for like a very long time with those 2 pit frags on blue side, which is insane to be honest.
Yeah, pit frags are incredibly devastating because typically you would need to land 2, 3, maybe 4 shots to kill a player, 5 if you're not landing any crits, and then getting a pit frag, you're just knocking out a player in one go. Like it's very, very destructive.
Kind of see a red team advantage here, but most people are just it's pretty chaotic right now. There's a blue player flanking who's gonna attempt to flank through ruins right here. It could be huge.
Yeah, he does get cleaned up.
That's
There's
one person though.
someone getting knocked back with the air blast and then getting cleaned up with the other teammate. We're seeing a very chaotic scuffle here extending all the way into the blue team's main. A red player trying to back out of the flank and getting caught by several players, staying up way longer than you would expect, but does end up getting cleaned up in the end. We do see some point pressure coming out of blue, and they have the positioning in and around the point, but they aren't able to convert it into a capture.
Oh, I just saw a melee jiggle. That was beautiful.
Melee, I don't think we've seen many of those. That's very stylish. Looks like the red team is trying to regroup a little bit before taking a fight. Yeah, we see Frolic with the risky positioning towards the cliff side, but no pit frags so far.
We have a red player flanking through ruins. This could be.
Yeah, actually he manages to flank, and they didn't really catch him out there.
Oh, he tried to go for the extinguisher there. He's using it. That's fine.
That's cool. It's cool to see that people are at least trying it.
Yeah. But it seems like red team's just kind of falling through under instead of taking the high ground on top, which, you know.
No, they do have a big player advantage now with the multiple blue players coming out of a respawn.
Yeah, they managed to push them out now.
I think if you're the blue team here, you kind of want to regroup. You want to wait for them to cap. You want to regroup and then do a big push. But with Amir taking a weird fight and somehow actually working out in his favor, turning it into 2 frags, but before getting traded.
We had Dizzy just kind of trying to flank through, and he went into the church and just got absolutely annihilated by 2 players. He got sandwiched there. It's a pretty risky move there. Really needs to be coordinated. And the fire's red now.
Right, so the timers on either side looking very equal. It's another very balanced round so far.
From both teams. Just look how much gas there is.
Yeah, the gas on this point especially does so much for locking out the position, because the whole point, you can basically douse the whole point in gas. And as I say that, Potato actually chucks the gas on the point and they basically can take the area for free now.
The last confrontation from Rez.
Yeah, Rez coming in to block for a little bit. He's kind of wild with it. Yeah, he's trying to do the jumps and stuff, and he's not getting cleaned up. And as I say that, he gets cleaned up. It's the caster curse in full effect.
One person to be. Oh, never mind. Okay. Red is having this high ground situation here, but yeah, blue manages to blast most of them off.
Yeah, blue is immediately putting the pressure
another
on
melee
again.
frag. Dude, he got comboed. What?
I actually like what I saw right there. There was the red team put a little bit of gas on the point, and then a lot of the blue team actually started burning because of it. But the blue team was using the man melter there to extinguish each other, get some health back, and then also save up the crits. So maybe now the blue team might have some of these crits ready to go, and for get some free chip damage with that. If you manage to land that crit, that 90 damage crit from range, like that is a devastating blow. You basically immediately need to go get a health kit.
Just half of your health gone.
Yeah, it's scary.
Oh, we see a ton of gas passes.
Yeah, blue putting gas on the point, basically making it so that the red can't walk onto there, but red does get the position of the pressure on point, and it's going to be pretty hard for the blue team to come in. They need to come and stop this, though. We're seeing a 2v2 on the point with one of the red players very low HP, but he doesn't get cleaned up.
Seems like you go for the.
And it's a clinch. It's a clinch for the red team. The GOOF troop takes the first map.
And that's first map. What's the second one again?
The second map will be. The second map will be. What was it again?
Hangar?
It will,
Yep,
will be
I-
Hanger, yeah. Because we had
The airplane.
thing as a decider. Yeah, it's true.
Pretty close matchups, I'll be honest. It was very chaotic as well.
Yeah, it was a very close match. The first round was very much favored by the red team. Like they were putting in a lot of work and not really letting blue team get on the point at all. But then the second round and the third round as well were way more balanced, and the rounds really, could have swung either way. All right, here we go. The second map, Hanger. This could be a decisive map for the Goof troop if they manage to pull it into a win.
Oh, I remember this. You could go through the little metal detector, and it's actually gonna make a beeping sound.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
such a cool detail. Yeah, it makes a little sound if you go through it. But it's if you're a spy, it's really bad because if you're cloaked, then it'll also go off. All right, so we're seeing an initial fight here. Blue team managing to get the first blood, managing to get a second frag and a third frag. It's
Blue team
looking
is
very,
kinda-
very good for the blue team so far.
We had a red team kind of going through left side. I'm pretty sure, trying to flank all of the the blue members. But he took a very long start pathway. And just kind of, by the time he arrived, all of the red team members were already dead. Blue team just kind of was able to cocoon themselves around the little, what's this room in the middle called? You know, the one that looks like
The
big
one with
cylinder.
the control tower. Yeah, I think it's probably best to refer to it as tower, just because it's the airport control tower.
the red
Yeah,
team.
red did come in there. I think the blue team after the fight there, and when they were holding the point, they were kind of spread out and kind of got caught off by the red team, who basically all rolled up in one big unit and just started cleaning house.
Oh, okay.
We're seeing Res trying to play the fence next to the point, trying to block and air blast a little bit. The air blast on this point is pretty helpful as well because the point is a little bit elevated. So if you come in from the tower side of the point, then it's very easy to push people towards the plane and get them off the high ground. You can obviously do a little jump and get back up from the concrete blocks, or you can past the fence. But
To be able
again,
to
it's very easy to get air blasted. Yeah.
Yep. It feels as if Red is managing to pick a few players off, but once again, it kind of looks like they're going in one by one or in little groups.
Yeah,
Blue's
I
just
see
able
what you're
to
saying
bubble
here.
them.
The blue team is doing a better job in fighting as a group, picking up players one by one and sort of trickling the red team as they're coming in. And again, red team isn't really waiting for their respawners.
Oh,
There's
but
just
blue
two red
team's
players
kinda
trying to touch the
separated,
point here,
trying
and
to
they're kind of getting
chase the
converted on by
player
the blue team.
Yeah. But yeah, red team's just kind of all over the place. There's two near the plane, but blue is just able to concrete themselves on the point altogether. We're not really seeing blue kind of. Oh wait, we are seeing this now. They're taking space forward. They could
Yeah, and I mean,
try
there's
taking control of the
some
health
routes
box.
that are faster than others and taking some forward space here and finding the players in the choke points. Yeah, that's exactly what Potato is doing right now. Finding the players in the gate 1 choke point is a great way of converting some easy damage, maybe getting some frags before they can even make it to the point. And it's really working in their favor here. They're managing to pick off the red team before they even get to the point.
Yeah. Pretty stomping situation for red here. They kind of need to just group up and go through one area and hopefully.
Yeah, I almost wonder
push
if they're playing it a little bit less serious, like they're a little bit more relaxed and just kind of trying to play the fragging game, because they know they have a map up and they can potentially drop this map. Maybe that's what we're seeing here. Because they are really it seems like they're a little bit less coordinated than the last map. But I mean, that might just be I might be seeing things. That might be a coincidence.
Yeah.
They do manage
saying
to-
that as red takes the point.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's the
Probably.
caster curse. You say
Maybe.
something and the exact opposite thing happens. We see Frylock kind of overextending again on his own, maybe trying to bait a player into the choke, but it's not really working out in his favor. He takes some damage. He doesn't really manage to do any damage. I mean, that's the risk you take when you're doing those plays where you're going alone super
most
deep.
of
Like
blue
you
is
can just
trying
get.
to go through one little hallway there, which
I mean, yeah, but it's working out for them. They're getting
it
the
is,
frag.
which I am confused about.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, it's not supposed to work that
Oh,
way.
and we see the first man now to go. That was wonderful.
Yeah, we see a man with a crit kill. That's impressive work, because we all know we're all familiar with the meme of the Diamondback spy who has 20 crits, but then he starts sweating and he can't. He's too nervous to land the shot. I mean, that's like the same thing happens with the Man Melter all the time. You have that crit, and suddenly you're feeling the pressure to land it. So it's nice seeing people utilize the crit and getting to land it.
It's still anyone's game, even after blue getting a solid control on the point for quite a bit. Red still manages to come back and contest it.
Yeah, I mean, blue does have a couple of frags here, but it's not really enough to get a cap. And I mean, if the blue player were to cap here, it'd actually be very bad because he'd be delaying his whole team. So yeah, he just backs up, and Frolic overextending to try and get this frag. I mean, he'll just get cleaned up by the blue team here, right? Surely they punish this. Yeah, yeah, Frolic gets punished for the greed, as he should, honestly. Like that's
Blue having no health disadvantage whatsoever, it's just free to push red.
Yeah, now they have a player advantage. There's a little 1v1 going on in baggage, but outside of that, we're seeing a big team fight. And
that 1v1 is just awkward.
Yeah, the 1v1 is really awkward, and the blue team... Yeah, I mean, the blue team just manages to convert this whole thing into their advantage now.
Yep, most of it.
You see Frolic kind of going in alone, but he does actually manage to get a frag out of it.
Headstand? Okay. And now we just only have one player. With blue having capped the point as well. That one lone... Yeah, he's surviving for quite a long time. He might actually get a health back and wait for a flank opportunity here. Yep, he's deriving a lot of attention.
Yeah, and I mean, the red team really has to start getting on the point here. There's 3 seconds left, and the blue team has so many players that they'll just easily be able to air blast all the red players. Yeah, there it is. It's, the round is over.
This one's going for blue.
Yeah, this is as opposed to the last map where we saw red starting off strong. Now we're seeing the blue team pulling up ahead.
I don't know, it's kind of baffling to see that it was only 40 seconds for red, even though blue was crushing them for, I think, 2 minutes or so. It's very back and forth indeed.
Yeah, maybe a little case of that they weren't playing around the objective enough, or maybe red was just in better position.
That's most likely it, yeah. It's kind of going one by one.
We're seeing we saw a crit Dragon's Fury there, so I think that means we saw a reflect.
Yeah.
A Dragon's Fury reflect.
Control point is being contested.
The game's kind of going for blue right here, but...
Yeah, red is kind of getting torn apart here. There's only one player up now.
Yeah, having blue players just kind of all over the place, taking control. And
we see one blue player kind of overextending and getting punished for it as well. He gets cleaned up by the red player. So now the red team does have a pick advantage, and the blue team is holding the point. So that respawner is going to take a while to get back up. It does look like red is kind of disjointed here. They got a player outside, they got a player behind. Blue could actually use this in their advantage and just pick off these players one by one.
Yeah,
they're trying to do it though, and now the blue player extends too much into the outside area and gets cleaned up because of it. I think the blue team had a good chance there of converting the isolated red players into frags, but they didn't commit onto the right targets, and then it ended up working against them.
Yep, everyone just kind of went on KOS and completely ignored.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of players in the lobby area in the shutter. It's a bit of a close quarters area. Like this can be a pretty bad kill box to be in.
Kind of like
They're just coming in from behind, and now the red team is just getting torn apart in the lobby. There's just a three-way fight going on here, and Frylik's not able to do anything because he's just getting crushed from all sides.
Now we have a 4v2, which is probably
Yeah, this should be a very easy fight one for the blue team. They have such a large player advantage.
There's two red players who are putting up a very good fight.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the red team coming in and making a lot more happen than I would expect out of the player count and the health situation.
Oh, okay, time to drink water. Goodbye.
We're gonna hydrate, all right. Right, so red team holding the point, timers kind of equal. The red team all kind of held up in the luggage area.
Oh, we have a lone
see a single blue player touching the point.
He
managing to get a frag out of it though.
Yeah.
Now this event, the red player getting meleeed by two maniacal pyros coming at them with the melee. That was an insane moment. The red player just completely squished in between the blue team.
I was gonna mention how that lone blue player just going by himself on the point was kind of bold, but that might have been just a distraction.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up working out for them, that's for sure. So the red team is now sort of getting picked off one by one, and it's turning into this big advantage. The red player getting
Another
melee from
melee
behind
frag.
twice. Oh my goodness.
I don't remember melee frags being this easy to get. What?
Yeah, but I mean, it's really a case of red players that are kind of going in one by one and then getting just completely sandwiched by multiple blue players because they're just going in alone and trying to go for some hero play, and then the blue team is capitalizing on, you know, and taking the advantage.
We are seeing a blue player advantage, probably due to overextending, so red's gonna punish this. As we can see, they're already taking control of the point. With one gas buster going on the point from blue, which is gonna be kind of futile already,
Secure the control.
with no one to follow it up.
One player dying to the natural afterburn of the Dragon's Fury. That's kind of rare as well.
Unfortunately.
It has like 2 or 3 ticks of 4 damage. It just goes to show that even the smallest bit of health might make a difference. We're seeing a big scuffle in the blue side. Xeno getting a crit frag with the Man Melter. That's the second crit Man Melter frag we saw this round.
Oh,
He has so many crits saved up. I just see him shoot another
he's
one,
just
and he
trying to
still has
snipe
one
them.
remaining. Unfortunately, he
Bro,
doesn't find anything with the other Man Melter shot.
That was
but-
literally the Diamondback spy with the 20 kills, just wrecking
Yeah.
them.
Hey, you're
trying
right.
to save the
Yeah.
point.
Unfortunately, didn't get anything with it, but it's good. And we're seeing good use of the spamability, the pokeability of the Man Melter, getting that cheap damage at range that you really can't get with any other weapon in this format, because obviously the Dragon's Fury is very limited in range. The Gas Passer doesn't do anything outside of denying space. The melee is obviously a melee weapon, so the Man Melter really is the only way to do anything at range, and so it's good seeing players take that free damage when they can, or, you know, dealing the free damage when they can.
And as we're saying that, Red's just managed to get the point back. We'll see if blue would just go at them all together and just kind of take it back as well.
Yeah, they really should just group up here, because the red team has like these different hiders in all these different spots, but will it get them frags, or will it just mean that they feed players one by one? It does look like they fed their first player, and it looks like Dorson on the little roof getting taken out as well. Yeah, this looked like a definite advantage with Frylock coming in from the back. Maybe that'll be something that'll help the red team as they can sandwich. They're trying to get some air blasts in, but it seems like they're not able to take the positions they need to take.
This
will be a recap for the blue team.
Blue lobby right here. 2 plus
Yeah, the
one
blue
high.
lobby rest does get cleaned up, and he didn't manage to convert it into any frags in favor of red team. So blue is all players up. They're getting some health. They could actually maybe make this work. There are no real holes in their defense right now, so the red needs to do something, make something work. Looks like we do have 2 red players trying
So
to touch
many
the point.
gas passes going down. There's 4 at the same
Yeah,
time.
the match is about to end, so people are using all of the resources they can, because there's no point in holding it on if the match ends, obviously. So
I mean, this long
it's a
blue
very,
player just
very
walking
chaotic
them.
fight here with players spreading out, trying to get the health. 2 red players capping now. They need to do something quick, the blue team, get them off the point, convert it into some frags, because otherwise you just get overwhelmed by the air blast. But they're not able to do it, and the second round goes to the Goof Troop. It looks like we have another very close match here, going to the 3rd round.
We might get this to the 3rd round there as well. I think we
Yeah,
have
this might,
another-
I mean, this could be a 3rd map even. Like, this could be like an incredibly close set.
Once I get had like a bunch of players deep into enemy spawn and just kind of waiting through the entire fight, which, you know, definitely has an effect. Could be either. Oh,
We're seeing the mid fight here. It's very back and forth. Good damage from both teams. Converted into some frags. 2 players down for red, 1 player down for blue, 1 player in the blue lobby.
notice how the fight is happening in the lobby and not on the point anymore.
Yeah, red is managing to squeeze those players in behind, and then distracting the blue team from contesting the point, but ends up not working out in their favor as the blue team clinches that and is now trying to get that point time. 1 lone red player coming in and trying to do something, but it looks like,
Yeah, just bound to get.
yeah, it looks like a futile attempt.
Was
Blue
it
gets the cap.
blue takes advantage of any space, yeah. Just kind of going forward.
Yeah, blue has a full reset. Very healthy now as new fights are breaking out towards the luggage area. Some players are traded out, and it's still relatively equal.
Yeah, red's kind of scattered.
Oh, well, I mean, the red scattering, it
Taking
looks like
control,
it's
yeah.
favoring them now. They're coming in from different angles, and the blue players are kind of close to each other and getting sandwiched from multiple angles, basically getting spammed out. I think the red players had much better positions there, because when you're standing next to each other, and you're basically in a bit of a kill box where the red players can come in and very easily deal damage to 1 or 2 targets at once. And as a blue player, you then have to focus on one of the sides. So that was definitely a positional advantage by red, kind of spreading out and coming in from different angles. And the blue team didn't really capitalize on the fact that they were all spread out either, and they were just kind of getting destroyed by it.
Lobby just kind of being a death corridor anyway. We did have like a lone red player who took who just distracted most of blue to get him off the point, and then the entirety of red just sprinkled through luggage and just kind of reversed the high ground advantage.
Yeah, it surprises me honestly that so many teams and players are choosing to roll out through luggage and trying to take that initial fight there. It's not the fastest route to the point at all, but at the same time, it also doesn't really matter if you're the first to get to the point, because the point doesn't unlock straight away. It's a very scattered fight with picks on either side, really, and the blue team now putting on some pressure on the point because they do have the respawn advantage, and some of the last red players getting cleaned up.
2 gas passes on the point.
There's a lot of resources committed to that fight. I think some of the blue players getting the man melter crits ready. You might see some players getting nuked by that in a second. The red team trying to push
massive
through.
Fight happening through luggage on point right now.
Yeah, they were trying to push through the luggage area to the tower
We might see a
area.
man melter kill? Nope, we didn't.
No, we saw an attempt for sure. I saw the crit coming out, but no frag. Red's kind of trying to bait Potato into the outside area, seeing if he can't take a 1v1. But he's now getting kind of sandwiched in his own shutter.
He did get the pick. Reds did get the pick on Potato.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting. Like, he's now baiting them into the little choke point where the shutter is, and just taking them out one by one, as Red is then converting from the baggage area. Looks like Blue's kind of getting picked apart here, and they should really be looking to regroup and maybe focus one angle of approach and then get frags that way.
Yeah, I think Reds just kind of managed to once again distract most of Blue and just...
Yeah, kind of stall that time for his team so his team could come in from behind.
Oh, you see that hiding spot from Emir on the pipe?
Yeah, he's been doing
cool.
this a couple of times where he does the little jump to get onto the pipe. And it's a pretty cool ambush spot that only works because of the move speed bonus. It's a very cool little thing. You can tell that some of these players went out of their way to check out the map and practice these little movement things, because he's been hitting the jump. See a lot of damage on the red team. Reds with basically 1 HP, but managing to still get a kill there.
Yeah, Reds
he gets his second on the way out. Wow, that is...
He's just kind of squeezing through everything. And he did get a pack, so he might be able to...
We saw this last map as well, where he was very that he's a
mobile.
Very slippery player. He just managed to get in and out of fights very easily, so he's been doing the same here.
A lot of gas passes from Blue's side right here.
Yeah, Blue's really committing to trying to take this point. The times are relatively equal on the clock, and so this round is again just a very, very close round.
I don't think... Okay, Rez is just kind of going in alone.
Yeah, this is not looking like a great play from Rez, and he's 1 HP and he
just
does
wasted the gas passes.
Yeah, he tried to go for the pack in the shutter area, but I don't think the pack, maybe it wasn't up, or maybe he didn't make it in time. He didn't.
It wasn't up, no.
Yeah, it wasn't up, so he got kind of unlucky there. The red team now, it's still just kind of feeding in one by one and just getting picked apart by blue team. We're seeing a sandwich situation in the plane. The plane is an incredibly dangerous area. If there's a blue, there's a blue player on either side. The melee fight, the little melee ring, and then the teammates cleaning up the melee frag. That was a beautiful, beautiful showcase of why the plane can be a very terrifying area to be in if you're alone, because players will come from either side and you were just stuck in the close quarter area with no ability to kite the shots because it's just such a close quarter area. You love teams that realize these little quirks about the maps and they're managing to play it correctly.
Oh no, that was hilarious. This is just one player stuck with the rake out, and then two others just approaching with their own rakes.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That was a pretty quirky moment where there's just a lot of melee action in the close quarters area, and people are trying to take these 1v1s and then turning into 2v1s, and just completely getting sandwiched.
Well, Xeno kind of getting caught into red lobby there might be a pretty big stall for blue, but we can see them committing otherwise. And
Yeah,
still getting a big
blue just
stall.
needs one good push here, and if they manage to weasel their way onto the point, then they could turn this into a round win. But it looks like the red team is holding on to their position. They do drop Res to a loose Rand Melter shot, and then another pick on Fry. Like, this might actually be this might make the difference here. Like, the blue team might be able to convert this into a cap. There's only two red players up, and they have to block the point.
And
Now the air blasts are coming in, and the round is over. Red is not able to turn this into a win, and we're going to a map 3.
We are.
Wow, what an incredibly balanced matchup so far. This is like some peak content right here. The two teams just putting in so much work. We're seeing so much good use of positioning, good use of all the unlocks.
Peak content was what happened on the plane. Like, that was.
Yeah, that's true. That is
was
you're correct when it comes to that. That is it's a very silly moment, but at the same time, you love seeing stuff like that because, I mean, the plane is just such a close quarters area. It's so dangerous to be in. You really only want to go there if you know you're safe, if you know there's nobody around, because you really have no ability to kite any of the shots.
I know, it can kind of go both ways because the health packs are inside the plane itself. That one player who got ganged there almost got a kill on the one of the gangers who had to leave even.
And it looks like we're readying up, so we're gonna go into the action in a second here.
Let's see where they take the fight. It's probably gonna be around the point next to the little stone areas.
We're seeing a red team preferring the 3-1-1 rollout, where blue is doing a 2-2-1. Fights breaking out, a first pick in favor of red team, but two getting traded and then another getting traded in red, so it's a very balanced matchup still. The health situation kind of favoring the blue team, but red manages to get another pick out of it, and Amir staying up for much longer than he should have.
Yeah, blue just kind of winning over this, having a lot of players all over the map and just able to pick off red ones.
Yep. Yeah, Red's kind of feeding in there. I don't really understand what he was trying to do. I guess he was trying to stall the point for his team, but it didn't really work out. We do see Frylock going behind and taking a weird 1v1, and it seems to work in his favor because he stole the health kit from the blue player. But now he's just getting completely 3v1. We see a melee frag coming out of Potato there. I want to say there's a lot of melee frags in this matchup so far.
There are previous games, there were like 6 frags there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some on Relic as well, but I guess on Relic, I think we mostly saw like pit frags, but then...
Yeah, that was the main attraction.
Yeah. I guess on this map, because there are, it is like there are more corners and stuff, so the melee frags, it might be a little bit easier to get a melee frag. Like, you might be able to do a little bit of like a corner stab type of action where you ambush someone on a corner. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a little bit more melee frags, because I mean the match just started and we already saw one. So
we see red kind of taking control back from on the point, but it's still anyone's guess.
Yeah, I mean the red health situation is it's not the greatest right now. As a matter of fact, they're all getting cleaned up and it's a complete wipe. And blue just gets the point.
For a cap. All right.
We see Xeno getting really aggressive here, basically going all the way into the spawn. He's sitting in a little corner. Let's see if it plays out in his favor. Oh, one passes him, and the rest of the rollout goes to the other side. Oh, he meets the whole team. His timing was just off. Yeah, he doesn't really get anything out of it because of the awkward timing. Dorson
also kind of getting caught out from trying to get the health back on the flank, but failing to get out in time.
I mean, there's some back and forths here, but it does seem to favor the blue team, especially with considering the respawn advantage.
The red team.
Yeah, the red team just completely tearing apart the blue team now. It's a complete wipe. So we'll have to see the blue team regroup and push. But I mean, they got a lot of time off the clock there. Basically 90 seconds to half the timer. Half the timer is gone.
Have a very long time too.
And Frolic overextending into the blue spawn. Actually manages to get a frag out of it, but does get cleaned up. Red team not doing a forward hold, and trying to
Red
control
team's
the choke
very,
points
very
coming out of the
aggressive,
spawn
yeah.
area. The blue team really shouldn't be taking these choke point fights. They should be going right side, wrapping
Just kinda
around.
wrap around. We did
Yeah.
we did see that with some 2 players.
Yeah, it's a little slow, and now they're getting met in the choke point again.
Yeah, now they
You really want to avoid
also
the
rotates.
choke point fights. You want to try and break through the choke and then fight in the open, so you have an ability to kite the shots and maybe turn the fights into like a favorable position rather than having to brute force your way through a choke point where it's very easy to hit you. Blue team does push in and
another
basically
melee
cleans up the whole red team. Another melee frag coming out, so that's the second melee frag for this map.
Wow, blue did like come to a consensus that they had to rotate. Red unfortunately also saw that they were rotating, managing to meet them up, but through that scuffle, Red did manage to lose a bunch of players, so points going for blue. And we see gas passes all over the place, even on the bridge.
Yeah, the gas pass on the bridge is interesting because the gas does fall down. It obeys the laws of gravity, so it will naturally contest the whole point.
You just gotta be able to be good enough to hit the bridge itself.
Yeah, that way the bridge
the jar.
itself is also covered in the gas. we see the blue team getting pretty comfortable here with this hold. They're not really bleeding any players. Even as Popsy is kind of overextending and fighting deep into their lines, he's turning it into a frag, turning it into their favor, and now the blue team is just completely outnumbering the red team. There was a 4v1 on point there. Red team does manage to find a 2v1 into a frag, but now with the big point scuffle, still just losing several players.
Yeah, blue seems to have just an overall advantage here. Yep, and we even have one pick from Xeno and Frost. We see these occasional snipe attempts with the man melter as well.
Yeah, I mean the man melter can be a great tool for cleaning up those players that are trying to escape with very little health. You can just poke them as they're trying to run out. Maybe they think they're safe because they're out of range from the normal Dragon's Fury, so they're not really paying attention to their movement as much, and then it can be very easy to finish them off with a man melter. Red team managing a push though, and managing to get the point right before the end of the round. So the timer for blue is all the way down to 0 though. So blue just needs to do one regroup, and then they can push and get the point. But it's a rough situation for red because there's more than a minute on the clock still.
They would have to be very passive on this, or actually very aggressive, so they can.
Yeah, I think
try to
you
make
would want to see the forward hold where you hold them into the chokes and you get like that free damage. And we see another melee frag coming out, 2 frags coming out of the blue team, one getting traded. And the red team does manage to convert this into a one fight. IVG trying to hold on for dear life, getting a lot of damage and cleaning up both Frylock and Rez.
Look at all of these Dragon's Furies on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like 7 of them, 8. Anyways.
Yeah, it's an interesting little quirk though with the weapons dropping, because in the case of something like the gas passer dropping, if the gas passer has dropped, someone was ready to throw the gas, so you can actually pick up the gas and chuck it. And there will be some players that notice this and they'll be able to take advantage of it. The blue team though coming in and cleaning up the players and getting the point. It was a pretty convincing round there. They had the 1 minute ad, and to be fair, like red did manage to get basically a minute off of that remaining like 1.5 minute, but it wasn't quite enough time. They did have to give up the round.
Yeah, unfortunately. Ostrich egg. What? Okay, crack that back, Alexa.
Crack it, yeah.
Let's hear the crack. Okay.
I don't know. I tried, but I don't know if you could hear it. I don't know if the mic could open. Alright, you see a mid fight here in favor of red. Some blue players trying to hold on, but it's not really working out in their favor.
Disadvantage on blue as well as health. There's one thing.
Get a hydration redeemed. Let's get a little sip.
Can I make it audible though? Hold on.
You just slurp
No,
it.
that was weird.
The red team got the point, but they're down 3 players. This is probably going to be a very easy repush for the blue team. Start edging this cap and turning the point into their favor. Only 20 seconds off the clock.
We did see a massive gas blaster going from res. I think it kind of gouged everyone on it.
Yeah, but they didn't really get anything out of it, so you could argue that it really wasn't that useful in the end.
Well, you say that, but the duration of it is pretty large, and we can even see a pyro and blue burning, but not really managing to collapse all together.
The red team's trying to push in, but they're kind of getting outnumbered in these fights.
It kind of looked like blue was just backing up, like waiting for a single player to go into them, just surrounding them.
Yeah, I mean, in that
over and
sense,
over again.
yeah, and in that sense, it's a great little thing to do. That those are the fights you want to take. You want to take the number advantages because then, you know, you both land a shot, they take the crit, and yeah, I mean, it's they take a lot of damage all at once. You basically evaporate.
Blue having a very good player advantage here. Probably would push just as soon as they can. Having a good health advantage as well. We see gas passes going down as well. Yep, and there we go. We already have Dorson going down.
The timers on this round are very balanced in the sense that, you know, there's a 30-second hold for one team and then a 30-second hold for the other team. It's really going back and forth a lot, and the red player coming from behind, kind of getting outnumbered, but managing to convert it into a frag because his teammates came from the front as he came from the back. Like, that was a great example of just how strong it can be to sandwich players in this game.
And we even
can only look one way after all.
Blue side here.
Red Frylock pushing up and trying to do the cheeky forward hold again. The red player's actually spreading out over all the chokes and trying to forward hold basically every single choke, I guess for info, as well as maybe trying to get that free damage. They do manage to get at least one frag out of it, but the Frylock getting traded out.
He's kind of holding flank hold by himself against two other players. He does eventually get out though.
Yeah, the red team does manage to get some more value out of this forward hold than the blue team would like. Blue team trying to get some point pressure in. Some trades happening around the point. Gas coming down. Frost going for a flank. Kind of baiting his team for a little bit, and now he's just getting 3v1 because he baited his team and his teammate wasn't there to capitalize on it.
Yeah,
that's the risk. That's the risk when you're constantly going for these flank plays. You mess up that timing, and then suddenly you're just baiting. You're basically baiting your team, and both of you are going in one by one. It can be a very detrimental thing. Sino trying to backstab the player and not really timing it well with his teammate.
No, we have a very aggressive gas pasta from blue side here. We're just taking control of the entire map and just kind of surrounding blue. Fortunately, blue is kind of taking good fights. I kind of can't tell what's going on. There's people in red.
Yeah, this is very chaotic. This is a very chaotic fight. There's so much like spread out action and little 1v1s and 2v1s happening everywhere that it's kind of hard to keep track of.
Yeah, Popsy just kind of getting like caught out in red house and just...
I think one definite thing we can say here is that the red team is much better at taking that forward hold and getting into those enemy choke points. We've seen like Sino getting comfortable and like hiding in little corners, but the red team is much better at like actually holding the chokes together and denying the player from even walking out of spawn. And I think that's getting them a lot of time off the clock. A big mid fight, someone getting air blasted super high.
Yeah.
Two red players left, and they both have a very bad health situation, so this should be a pretty easy
Okay, I don't understand the air blast game from Dorson.
Well, he's just trying to stall for his team, right? He's trying to get the respawners in and trying to chip as much time from the clock as possible. The cap coming in for blue. Like, this is the moment where if you're blue, you want to be pushing up forward. I don't know why, we still have players like Potato and Popsy playing around the point. They really should be walking forward with their team and trying to take as much space as possible.
Both time is very close for both teams. Pretty bad.
Dorson kind of going in alone and getting taken out. He was a little bit too early with pushing there, and he even died to the gas passer afterburn.
And I think one more player is gonna... Nope, they got extinguished. Okay.
Oh yeah, IVG almost dying to the afterburn, but his teammate coming in clutch with the air blast and saving his teammate's life. It might seem like a small thing, but that obviously means that they're not down a player, and the respawns might not get staggered, and that'll save them a lot of time in the long run. IVD going all the way behind now, trying to set up a flank, but the red players are reacting to it. Frost is trying to take a fight, and now Frylock is going to be on rollout. No, Frylock completely misses IVG, actually. It's a very chaotic situation, as there's now also a fight breaking around the point. Frost and IBG meeting each other in the red grass.
We see a
Blue is
very
putting the pressure on
devastating
point.
gasser from red team right here. Everyone on blue team is on fire right now. But we also see man melters.
Everyone on fire. We're gonna see some man melter crits coming up soon here. The blue health situation is less than desirable though. Red's kind of coming in early alone and chucking the grass, chucking the gas. I mean. We have 20 seconds. We need to see blue play around this point and basically deny as much point time as possible. All the point time here, like they want to be denying this, and they're really not denying this. This is going to be very hard for them to stop this snap now.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah, big fight breaking out. Huge damage in favor of like both teams taking lots of damage with blue coming out on top and actually managing to clinch the round against my expectation. I think it's another case of the caster curse. And we see PYRYO taking the third place. They won the decider map, and they won the bronze.
There was so much just firebolts over there, you couldn't even tell what's happening anymore.
Yeah, that last fight was so chaotic. The pushes coming in, and it was a 5v5 just around the point. Well, congratulations to PYRYO. They're getting the bronze. That was an incredible display right there in the end. That was a super chaotic fight. We saw lots of action. That was a great little thing to behold.